Hello, A Day with Caleb. We are back, this time talking about biggest box office surprises. These are movies that went into theaters with low to no expectations and kind of surprised everybody and blew it out of the water. And we start with probably the biggest one of those, the Blair Witch Project. Made on a shoestring budget, it far surpassed any hopes and monetary gain the studio thought. And such a neat premise, a premise that kind of has been beaten to death over the years with the found footage movie. But this one kind of really elevated that genre, well, kind of created that genre, even though it is overused now. Kind of the best example of the found footage would probably, besides this one, be Paranormal Activity. But you didn't know if the people were actually real or not. Turns out they were actors and actresses. Then my big fat Greek wedding blew everybody away. Such a great film, and there's actually 3 of those now. Cannot believe it. A few months back, watched the third film. A pretty good third film, not as good as the original. I don't really remember the second one that well, but have to rewatch it. The Passion of the Christ by Mel Gibson. I believe they're shooting a sequel to that film, if I'm not mistaken, or are shooting it now. But was the biggest R-rated movie of all time until Deadpool and Wolverine kind of blew that record out of the water. Then Get Out, Jordan Peele, probably my favorite Jordan Peele. Nope really surprised me. The trailers did not do that film justice. I was kind of clowning that film until I watched it, and it was fantastic. That and Get Out are great. The Us movie, maybe I should give it a second chance, but I didn't really get it as well as the other 2 movies. I'll probably rewatch that at some point. District 9 by Blomkamp, really great. Interesting look at if aliens invaded the planet, what would that look like? It leads to some funny moments, and then he has like the gun fused with his arm. Really strange, but really cool. The Sandra Bullock Gravity in space movie, science fiction, that's great. Slumdog Millionaire, probably surprised a lot of people. That was kind of a sleeper hit. Then, of course, the original Star Wars. I don't think people thought that would be a global phenomenon like it is, like it used to be. Maybe not as much now with like the sequels and the Alkali. Maybe we can turn it around, Disney, but it surprised a lot of people. Apocalypse Now, love the smell of napalm in the morning. Joker, really surprised a lot of people. Kind of a unusual take on a character from the Batman universe. And the sequel did not do well at all. When you have a comic book movie and turn it into a musical, you're gonna make a lot of the fan base mad. But Joker was great. The dancing down the steps, probably the iconic scene from that. The first Jaws, uh, Stephen had to kind of go in a different direction when Bruce the Shark animatronic didn't work, so he made it more suspenseful, and hence I believe the first summer blockbuster hit. Sixth Sense from M. Night Shyamalan, Bruce Willis, fantastic performance, a good twist ending, and I think because of this movie, Sham Hammer does a twist in all his movies, even if it's not a good twist, he still has a twist ending because of this. But at the time, that twist blew me away. The not the original, the TV series, but Batman by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton, Batmania around that time really, really blew up because of this film. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, if that movie had not been a success, we would not have anything Walt Disney related, whether that's the parks, the studios, Pixar, all these things they've bought. We would not have any of that if Snow White had not been successful. So that was great. The first live or theatrical animated movie, Paranormal Activity, we talked about in the found footage movie, took it up a notch. And I think there's like 6 or 7 of them now. Top Gun Maverick surprised a lot of people, including myself. I enjoyed Top Gun, but this one really endeared me to all the characters. Really great film. And then, one of the standout performances, Hangman would later become action icon in Twisters. The first Home Alone, you probably could put Home Alone 2 in here too, but the first one blew people's expectations of this kid, Macaulay Culkin, Catherine O'Hara, and then, of course, the Wet Bandits. Who could forget those? Then this one was a cool one to add to the list. Inside Out 2, coming off a string of mid to underperforming Pixar movies, this one kind of catapulted Pixar back up to being a box office powerhouse. Even though there were great movies during that time that were Disney Plus exclusives, so they couldn't really show the films they were. Then you had underperformers that were not great, like, Lightyear. But this kind of put Pixar back on top. Then Napoleon Dynamite, probably the most quotable movie of all time. We watched this at an all-nighter 3 times in a row. And we would quote that movie nonstop. And then we went to a camp that summer, and the counselor of our cabin, he would quote Napoleon. That's when it reached the zeitgeist of America, when everybody is quoting the movie. Get Out, we talked about, we had that already. We already talked about Get Out. Mad Max, the original movie, it kind of catapulted Mel Gibson into stardom. Borat, kind of a mockumentary, if you will, by Sacha Baron Cohen. Really, really funny stuff. Bring It On by my celebrity crush, Kirsten Dunst. And that has, what, 5 or 6 sequels now? Five Nights at Freddy's, I think that is filming a sequel now. Really great. Matthew Lillard, absolutely great. And a good story. Really scary game. I played through the first game and absolutely scared me to death. Terrifying game. Then Juno, even though the person involved is not that anymore, and there's some weird stuff. That was a success, a surprise success. We have Sixth Sense listed. I need to read my list before I. Okay, so we did Sixth Sense already. The Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which set up a sequel, which is one of the greatest movies of all time. T2 Judgment Day, the first one, a really good success. Slumdog Millionaire, we already listed. Okay, that's 3 movies I listed twice. So we have, 27, not 30. Bridesmaids, this one blew me away. Especially the scene where they go to the restaurant and, insanity breaks loose. Oh man, so many iconic moments and scenes from that movie. Then we end with Twister, Jane DeBont, action movie with Bill Paxton, rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace. And we talked about the sequel, of course, already, but the original 1996, right? All-time classic, not just because of the people chasing the Twister, but, the characters and the story. It wasn't just action or disaster film. It was much more than that. That's why it's one of my favorite films of all time. Just total package of a movie. Karen Ells is in it as well. Just a great cast, great supporting cast, great 2 leads of the film. And it finally got a sequel, which doesn't quite come to it. It's a little below it, but still a great sequel. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out. Both of them, in fact. The Extreme. But like, subscribe, share with a movie lover. Until next time, go see those box office surprises and keep collecting.